All right, guys, welcome back to the long break in between my podcasts. We are officially changing the name from the Van Cast to You Love to Hear It because I don't live in a van anymore. I moved up here to Lake Tahoe, got a house now, we're moved into the new spot, and I figured there's no better time to just go in on it because we've been getting a lot of requests for the podcast and people want to see behind the scenes, they want to hear product reviews, they want to hear us chat, hear our takes on stuff. So hope you guys enjoy this. We have one of the most legendary guests on. Could not be any more grateful. One of my best friends, roommate now in Lake Tahoe, Mike Dawsy. How are we, bro?
Great, glad you're here.
Glad to be here.
Look at the synchronicity of the cup down.
Dude, the whole synchronicity of everything
So
that we
good
have
right now.
going is
So good.
It's the reason that we're together right now.
It is. Yeah, it's very nice having you up here. It's gonna be a great winter. You have a super dope spot now. We got the plants. We got the Goodwill candle. Andrew Miller photo. We got the bulletproof. We're in it.
Yeah, for those of you guys who are listening, this is also going on YouTube too. We are sitting in an epic little studio right now that we just started building. We got plants that we bought the other day to just really get the energy nice and solidified in here and
Gotta
feeling
make
good.
that oxygen.
There's a literal
Gotta create
candle
oxygen.
burning in front of us.
Yeah.
You would never think that your boys would be out here buying
Seriously,
candles
never.
and flowers,
Yeah.
but we're stoked. All right, so let's jump in to a little bit of Mike Dawson background. We grew up together. We didn't grow up together. We grew up in the same place without really knowing each other. How many years younger were you than me?
I am currently 26.
So you were.
You're 20.
What year did you graduate?
2011.
So you're
I
from
graduated high school in 2011.
Colchester, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Same town as me. When did
I knew who you. We never like connected in the East, but I knew who you were. I remember like when I was a little kid, even you used to be older and skate. Like you used to like
skateboarding.
I wish we could like show the your part live or something, but like
We'll leave the link below
yeah,
to my 20. What year was that? 2006?
I
or
don't know, but
something?
you put out this crazy
2005?
skate part, like ollieing over everything, off all these roofs, like all these giant gaps in Colchester, the town we grew up in. And I remember skateboarding like around town with like all of the Nick Romano, Goody,
Vaughn.
Mito, Vaughn, all these guys. And I remember this one time, and you were like always around like skateboarding through that skate shop that, what's her mom's name?
Sam Poley's mom.
Sam Poley's mom owned.
What was the name of the shop? Montana's.
Montana's.
Can't believe that came back that quick.
Montana's. So like I knew you from like that era, and like I remember one time you were like collecting money for some like donation thing for Montana's at the skate park.
Yep.
And like you got like in trouble for it. It got taken away by the cops.
Should we do that story real quick? From what I remember, someone was getting bullied, and I remember going up to the bully and pretty much just shutting it down, being like, "This isn't how it works. Don't come around here. You can take off immediately. Like this is a skate park. Everybody's gonna be fine." And then that kid like started crying. Went and told his parents. His parents made up some story. Went and told the cops. The cops came over to me at the skate park, pulled me aside, and were claiming that I had been pocketing the money in a shoebox that we had been going around at the 57th Fest.
57th Fest.
Because
that's
our
right.
Colchester won the 57th best city or something in the U.S. or something like that, like growing city. And they kicked me out of the skate park and the rec field with claims that I had been stealing money from the donations for the park that I set up.
when
And
you were
I had
13
the
years
box.
old.
I had the box. I had all the money in it. I'm like, check my pockets. I don't drive a car. Here's my backpack. Like,
yeah, I'm a 13-year-old.
if I'm stealing money, it's in the it's around here somewhere. And I literally got booted out of it.
I remember that situation happening, and like that was like super long ago, and then from then on, it's like, you know, we both lived our own lives. You're older than me. I was like into like the whole high school thing, and you were
still
like,
in high
you're
school.
Still in high school, and you're out of it, and then
Let's fast forward a couple years to when I always knew Mike Dawson as like a younger kid who was friends with other kids.
Yeah.
But I really knew you as the name that stood out. First, like, there's pretty much a blank space in my head until all of a sudden I see an image of you in your Jeep randomly leaving Colchester, and I think you drove across the country with some of the boys, with Mito, right? On a road trip.
Yeah, I met up
Bought
with
a
Mito.
camera. That was the first time you started shooting photos or
Yeah,
something?
so I had an old camera. So how I got into photography,
and left your life. This is a big.
So yeah, this is a huge like conversation.
Everybody has that time period where they leave everything and
yeah.
take. So
it's just funny how it all worked. But like, my grandfather passed away. He left me a camera and like from that like a DSLR.
Whoa.
And that was my first time I ever used like a DSLR. I was always like back in the day. It was like super into like filming. I used to have like this little mini camera that I used to like film like the boys skateboarding and like do like stupid stuff, like kid stuff. But I was always like around cameras and whatnot. I was always into it. But then I finally got like my own DSLR, and then that kind of took me away from everything, because I was at that point working a desk job out of college. And then
you graduated college.
You
have a
degree in economics.
Wow,
crazy. But then ended up getting laid off from my job. Like really nice. I was an associate financial advisor. Like finance, like super suit and tie, no beard, cut hair, like completely different human.
No idea who this guy is.
Yeah, and at this point you have no idea who I am. But then like my grandfather gave me this camera. Whatever. One thing led to another. I got really into photos. I really got back into skateboarding, really got back into that whole scene, and then that kind of took away from like my whole job thing, and I just was like trying to bail on work, like always go skateboard, like always be with the boys, and eventually they laid me off.
Perfect.
Great deal. They gave me a severance package. It was on Valentine's Day. I'll never forget it. Brought me into the office with a big envelope right on the table, and I was like, maybe this is like your time to like pursue your camera thing, or like they were like mocking me, you know,
towards that,
like mocking me, these like, you know, like super like suit and tie guys. But so then eventually, so like immediately I left that place and just like called my dad. I was like, I'm moving to California. So like I always wanted to get out there. There's like always things leading up to the point of
Did Mito already have a plan to go?
I brought Mito to the Be Easy skateboard bus like a couple weeks before I got laid off. He was like in Arizona at the time on this road trip with like all these skateboard guys. So immediately I was like, okay, well I just got a bunch of money to leave my job, so I'm going to California. So I planned out this whole road trip, and I left for this road trip, and I like stopped in like New Jersey, see one of my homies, Washington D.C. I went to like a bunch of national parks. I was really into at this point like shooting nature photography. I was terrible. I'm still terrible at it, but like this is just something that I got into more when I was on the road. I was like taking pictures of like I was going to all these national parks, bought the national park pass. And got to South Carolina, didn't know what to do. I was like waiting for a girl.
Were you by yourself
driving?
By myself.
Yeah, by myself. I was
commitment.
Yeah, by myself. I fully like converted my car with my dad. I took out like all my seats in my car, and I built a bed and had all my storage and everything, and I was like fully into living in my car at this point. Fully like, committed to like
the feeling of
not knowing anything,
and everything, and building a car.
It's crazy, and like really not knowing.
But by yourself, that's a different type of feeling.
It was crazy, and that was learning. That was the first time ever like being on the road. So it's funny like knowing now how much access you have to like safe places to stay when you're living in your car. But like when you're like just first starting off, you're like
before you know it, it seems like just a dark blank space of a map.
There's so much things to figure out, and like, you don't even realize it until you're actually like fully in it and like fully. Like,
then you realize how easy it is,
and then you
want to tell other people how easy it is, and tell them where to stay and where to go and how they can do it. But it's just that
first
darkness.
initial like go, and like having to learn like hands on first like, you know, as you go is like. It's new and it's exciting. It's awesome, but like I got to a point like South Carolina where I was like, should I wait for this girl for like a week down here, like on my own, like not really knowing like Louisiana, Florida. I didn't know what to do, and I was like, you know what? I just need to not wait for girls, and I need to. I'm on my own time, so I'm gonna go be on my own time. Called Mito, and he was like, come to Arizona. So that night I drove to Amarillo, Texas. Is like on the panhandle of Texas. I think that's what it's called.
18-hour drive.
18-hour drive, cranked it out, slept, boom. Next day, Arizona. So I got to him immediately in like 2 days. And we went to like a Phoenix AM. I hopped in the bus. We're in the Grand Canyon. We went to all these like sites on this like giant
they were in a tour bus.
They were in a tour bus or school bus, and I was following them in my Jeep.
This is what I remember. This is like the first little glances I have of you on your way.
Yep. And then eventually though, Mito hopped in my car.
This is in May or April.
Yeah, April.
This is
it was
late
in April.
April.
Yep. Exactly.
I was in California at this time, I believe.
Yes, you're in SoCal. Because then, and I had no intentions to like go to HB crib. Like I was never planning on going there. When I left, I didn't know any of that, and like I didn't even like realize like I was gonna meet up with Mito and like go through all that. But we ended up linking up. Mito hopped in my car. I had to sleep in my car with Mito.
Yep.
For like
done that.
Week, you know, it was crazy. We went through like Death Valley, like camped a bunch of cool spots. Went to Zion National Park.
You guys
crushed it. We like went back into the Utah and then all the way back. We had we had all the time in the world essentially. Yeah. So it was great.
Mito's end goal was Huntington.
Huntington Beach.
HB being Huntington.
Yeah.
Huntington Beach.
And
where all of the boys have a cribby.
Yeah. Well, we used to have cribby.
Had.
Yeah. And then, so we finally got to the HB crib with all the boys. This is when I first met you, and Brent, and Jamal, and
You
Kirby.
met the new me, and I met the new you.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
our
yeah,
new
true.
selves met
True.
our new selves.
Yeah, we met, exactly. So, like, our energies and universes totally collided at the perfect time right then.
I was not vlogging at this time.
Nope.
I was on...
And I was barely shooting photos, really. I was like shooting photos. I was like high off like, you know, traveling, like shooting photos of nature and going to all these national
and
parks
still
and
being
shit.
new to the whole...
New to everything.
Creating your own life.
Yeah, literally. And there's like, yeah, on that new wave of like, you know...
Live in your car,
living,
live off
like
what you
doing
have.
what I want to do and like making that what I'm going to do forever, you know.
Even if that means making less and spending less.
I knew at that point was like I'm never gonna sit at a desk again. Like that's not happening.
For someone else.
For someone else.
We sit at
I'll sit at a desk all day.
You'll sit at your desk.
Yeah.
Not somebody else's desk.
No. Exactly. So then so we got to Huntington Beach. I got there with Mito, met you, Brent, Nesta, Jamal, Kirby,
what an era.
everybody at this crib. So and then we had like 15 people living at this house.
Yep.
It was crazy, but I was new, and I was new to everybody.
$2,800 for a 3-bedroom.
But like immediately though, it was we're going to Baja. It was like within a couple days.
That's because you lived with me, and that's all I do. If I'm in Southern California and I'm trying to get better at surfing, and I only have a short amount of time, especially in the spring and the summer, Baja gets better waves. There's less people. It's good food. We have such good connections down there. That was the first time that we started shooting photos together.
Yeah.
We went to Baja.
We immediately went to Baja. You guys were like, I didn't even have a passport at the time, right?
I don't think they weren't requiring passports.
No, I had a passport on the East Coast, but I didn't have it with me. I don't know why. It was because I think I got it late, and I put the application in, and I got mailed my home address, you know. And so
that was the time when everybody was crossing with IDs.
Yeah, it was Anthony.
Except Anthony's literally said not for federal reissue or use through government access or something like that.
But so we got to we got to
bring that story up later with that sombrero and everything.
So we went to Baja, and we were down there for like a month. It seems
we were staying in
the treehouse.
The treehouse. Whose treehouse was it? It was Dawson's at that time. I had already lived in Mexico. Ran Biner's business at K38,
which is right on
had
the
the treehouse for 3 months by myself living there. Biner moved, I moved, Dose moved into the treehouse, and it was...
And then he had all the boys there.
Dose is for the boys.
Yeah, 100%.
The Santoses are for the boys and the girls. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we literally were just going there without even the person that was living there, without Dose. Shout out to Dose Mock, by the way, for making that happen.
Yeah, so that changed
Jamal,
the course of my life, essentially.
Who else came down? Me, you, and Jamal?
Brent.
Me, you, Jamal, Brent, but Brent left early.
Yes.
Or did he not?
No, I think he was just... No, he must have left early, because... Alright, so...
Because he didn't come to that super
I continues the story, no. So, we go down there with Brent, Jamal, you and myself, And eventually, like, the boys come, like Mito and all those guys come. But like, this is
that was the fennel day.
And this is the fennel day.
That was when we slept at Raoul's.
Yeah,
we had the most insane time.
Insane.
Wow,
Such
we
a
had
good time.
tents everywhere, cars everywhere on this bluff overlooking this sick break.
And this is when we first like started shooting photos together heavily. It was like surf photos, Baja.
And I remember literally being like, who is this kid that is hundreds of yards out in the middle of the Mexico little desert area on the dirt, hiding in the grass, getting a couple pieces of grass in the foreground with a perfectly like spray background surf shot with the mountains. And I was like, every time I've ever seen a surf photo of myself, it was ocean, wave, horizon of the ocean.
Yeah, that's it.
Maybe there'd be like a island in the background.
Always have to have foreground.
I remember that too.
Unless you have like a 400mm lens and you can get like tight on the surfer, but like you always gotta have at least some sort of foreground.
Well, because especially you shoot
big landscapes.
One day of shooting surfing and you're like, all right, I can't do this again tomorrow.
No.
Like, you gotta figure out a way where it's not just like this guy having fun and me shooting water and him.
Yeah, it gets pretty crazy. We're shooting surfing because it's like, if you don't have like a world-class surfer to shoot, it's like it's a lot of waiting.
And
it's a lot of waiting.
Good waves.
Yeah, and
you're
good waves. If
Southern
I was in
California
Indo with you, it'd be like a whole different story. But anywho, so we finally got to Baja.
Some of the boys left after that trip.
Yeah,
they all came down, Mito and everybody. Which we should actually run into this story now.
Run it.
Our friend Mito, who we live with, third roommate here in our apartment now, is going to be here for the winter. So funny. So tan, looking super Mexican, has a giant sombrero on, rolls up to the border with no passport and an ID that literally says not government official, cannot use to cross borders. In the back seat, jam-packed with a bunch of stuff, 4 of the friends in the car, rolls up to the border, and the guy asks for everybody's passports. He hands him an ID. The dude tells him to crack the window down. Cracks the window. He's wearing sombrero.
He only cracks it down.
Cracks it down. Hola, ¿cómo está? And it's like, this guy was like, are you kidding me? He's like, you're all going to secondary. This ID is not even good. He's like, he even mentioned the Trump thing, being like, he's the reason that you guys are having problems to get into the border, and like, you want to come here and not have your own ID, and you're a citizen, you're going to secondary.
He gave him like so much trouble.
He was so bummed.
Because I remember getting that call from him being like, Anthony, like, he can't
get through the border. They got him to the side. Yep.
So they were bugging out, but eventually he got through
and learned a lesson.
To always bring a valid ID or a passport to another country.
Dress full Mexican.
And you don't wear a sombrero and like a weed map shirt or like all this stuff. You know, like, come on, be smart about that. But
so they all left.
Then
it ended up me, you, and Jamal surfing, living at the treehouse.
Yeah.
Just trying to figure out what we were going to do.
That was awesome. That
was the best time ever.
Best time ever.
With 10, I think, or 12 days until Super Park was going to start, and they still had not sent out
the invites.
Because it was 20. This is 19.
This is Super Park 21.
18. So it was 2017.
Yeah.
Super Park 21 at Mammoth, and they sent the invitations out maybe 10 days beforehand. Jamal sent his out as well, got confirmed to be a filmer. I got mine as a rider, and you were trying to figure out what the hell you even wanted to do.
At this point, I've never shot a snowboard photo a day in my life.
But you had wanted to, and you were shooting. You were trying to get a job. No, you were shooting job applications to Woodward.
Yeah, I knew at this point I wanted to like be shooting photos as a job in action sports. So at this point, I've already applied. At this point already, when I was in Baja, I've already applied to Woodward. So we're in Baja. You guys get the invites to Super Park. You tell me to shoot out this email. So I shoot out this email to Pat Bridges, who's like runs everything in snowboarding, and I'm like, I'm Casey Willex's photographer. I want to provide everyone with content, etc., etc. And then
was this the Carinthia year, or that was the next year?
That's the next year. So then, and I have never met the Carinthia boys yet. I've never met anybody yet. No experience whatsoever shooting photos. I at this point have at least a website because I've been applying to like photo jobs.
And you have some good photos that you shot in Baja. So you sent over a solid reel.
With
a solid explanation of riders.
Exactly.
Of just basically what you could offer and bring to the table.
Yeah, Broke is super down for him. He was super in. He invited me to Super Park. So boom, going to Mammoth next week with the boys.
And we got 3 more days in Baja.
3 more days in Baja.
Fully just celebrate the fact that we're all going to Super Park. We got in, and it's amazing.
And then at this point, we're just rolling with the flow. So then I get the invite. I remember. Yeah. So then we get to SoCal, and I get a call from Woodward Tahoe. They're running interviews for the summer position that I used to have, the content specialist job that I applied for. And they called me and they were like, hey, we want to have an interview with you. Can we like hop on a phone call? And I'm like, yo, I'll be there tomorrow.
We could just meet up at Super Park. I'll be there.
Yeah, no, well, I was like, I'll be there tomorrow. I then drove from SoCal to Tahoe.
Oh, yeah.
Tahoe.
Before we even
camped out in the parking lot. Didn't know what was going on.
Of Woodward.
Of Woodward. At Boreal. And went up there. Instead of a phone interview, I was like, dude, I'm just going to drive to you. I'm like, 8 hours, I'll crank that out. I'll be there in person.
Yeah, body 100%.
Got to see me. And so then I got to Tahoe, I got to Woodward, had an interview with Sam Jorgensen, who now I have all his pictures on my wall. It's really funny. Best manager ever. And Tucker Norrid, who now is the director of marketing at Woodward Park City. I had an interview with those guys.
Everybody's leveling up.
And then they were like, you know, we had an interview, it was going great. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to Super Park, and like, we are too. He's like, all right, well, that's your, like, that's your time, that's your tryout, you know. Like,
I remember they had said, like, there was a couple other people they were thinking about, blah, 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 blah. And then once they heard about Woodward, they kind of were like, oh, well, maybe you're already doing exactly what you would be doing. Like, all right, we're going to put the other stuff on the burner, and we'll just see you there, and, like, this will work out. They had features at Super Park.
Yeah, well, they're a featured mountain at Super Park that year. So then I went to their zone, and we shot a bunch of photos in their zone and working alongside of them too, and they were like, right then and there, they're like, you want that job? Like, let's hire you. So then they hired me, and boom, I started like a month later at Woodward, moved to Woodward Tahoe. Boom.
Unbelievable.
12 o'clock.
Should we take one of these phone calls?
So we're going to this is the time.
First person who calls that number, we're going to take live here. Have a question ready. Tell us your name, man.
Where are you from?
Where are you from? But I'm from
We got
Europe.
a call.
All right, we got the first call right now. We're going to drop this here.
You're on.
Holy crap!
Who do we got here?
I'm Keller.
Keller. Where are you from, Keller? Texas.
Sick. What part of Texas?
San Antonio.
San Antonio. Nice, dude. How hot is it there right now?
Fucking abysmal.
You ain't got no snow, huh? Do you got mountains there ever? You're snowboarding in the winter or you're traveling?
I snowboard in the winter as much as I can.
In Texas? So what's good, dude? You got a question for one of us?
Man, I just want your tips for someone who doesn't live near snow to still progress.
Nice. Good question.
Do you want to take this? You want me to take it?
Take it.
I mean, my number one thing for progression and getting better at snowboarding or anything is like application, immediate. So if you don't have something that's holding you back, like a job or like maybe a cheap place to stay or like that's why you are, it's not even an answer for your question. It's like the opposite. You got to go somewhere. You got to move somewhere where you love riding, if it's big mountain or if it's park or if it's something like that. Like even being from Connecticut where I grew up and there is snow, it's like a couple hour drive. Even that, if you want to take it and to the next level and progress even faster, I had to move to the mountain. And not even moving 15-minute drive from the mountain, 5 minute, like the closer you are and the more time that you have on a board or whatever it is the best way. If you can't do that though, for some reason, watching videos, I would say, obviously making as many trips as you can, and then just being overall active and in general, working out, skateboarding, like slacklining, anything active that has balance, that has like longevity for yourself, that's going to get yourself in better shape and conditioning, surfing. You're in Texas, you could go to the wave pool.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. You just stay active and do as much board sports as you can, and if you can make it, move somewhere.
Yeah.
All right, Keller, we're gonna take.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, Keller, it was good chatting, bro. We're gonna take another call, dude, but hopefully see you out there someday. You legend.
Oh, we just missed one.
Can we call back?
You can, but we're about to get another one.
Oh, we're getting calls like crazy.
All right, here we go. All right, who we got?
Yo, what's good? My name is Joe.
Joe, what's going on, Joe?
What's going on?
Where you from, Joe? Where you living?
I'm from Carlsbad, California, actually.
Oh, good stuff.
Sick.
In Arizona, nice, dude. We can hear you fine.
How did you kind of get your sponsors from, like, did you get it from writing contests or just from filming YouTube and, like, making your videos? I'm a big, like, backcountry rider.
Yep.
So, I'm just trying to film more and whatnot and get my content out there, you know?
Yeah.
Do you have a crew of people that you ride and that are like down to film you always and like stack stuff and stack content?
Yeah, dude, I got a lot of super sick on me too. Like, love to film. We always love getting up on the mountain.
So for sponsors, the best thing you can do is get your content out as much as you can, especially today and age. There's so many different platforms you get your content out, so all these different social media outlets. Definitely a place to start, and be tagging and sending these clips and those posts to sponsors is the number one thing that you can do. And creating a connection with those sponsors is something that you can form through social media. So even like, you don't even need to meet these people in person today and age, and you can just connect with them from across the world, and they could get on board and like be supporting you. So for Casey and I, we always, even if we want a new sponsor, we go online, go to their website, whoever we're interested in, go to their marketing team, try to find marketing content or contact, and then send a really well written, welcoming, introducing Casey and myself to these people, saying that what we want to do, here's some stuff that we've already made and that you can use for whatever you guys want, or this is just at least an introduction that we can establish a relationship moving forward. So I would say go on the website, or go on to any website of any of these sponsors and find your number one contact for their marketing or their content team, and then just contact them.
I want to add on to that a little bit too. A lot of times people like to show everything that they've done, and from a company standpoint, they need a reason for their business to grow by helping you out. So first of all, you want to pick companies that resonate well with you. You know what I'm saying? If you're, like you said, you're doing backcountry, you might not want to get like a park sponsor or something like that. You might want to reach out to companies that you actually do represent, and then make sure that when you send them that email or that package with all of your deliverables, that you're offering something to them. A lot of people just like, they think they're a good rider, or they think this, but if you're not able to provide something to the company that's going to benefit them, then there's no real reason for them to hook you up. So it's a circle. It's them hooking you up with products or gear or money or whatever it may be, and in return you giving them content or like views or notice through whatever platform you have or whatever your following or media is different than theirs.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's pretty much it, dude. It's the content era. Just pump out as much content as you can. Explain to these companies and these sponsors why you can help them out, why you want to work with them, and how. I like to say too that I'm gonna work with your products regardless because I support it that much. A lot of times some people won't even show products because they think they should get hooked up first, but I think it's the other way around.
Yeah, that's super good.
And I made a video on YouTube too. Type it in like how to get sponsored. I go into depth a little bit more on it.
Okay, sweet. I used to have a bus that traveled around. I was in high school.
School bus?
So once you get to get back on the road.
Oh, dude, that would be epic, man.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, dude. All the power to you.
Yeah.
Have a good winter, man.
Yeah.
Later, brother. Dude, these
15.
things are popping off quick, dude.
Yeah. And we have
Holy moly.
8 missed calls.
Call one of them.
Now we're gonna call this guy.
Hey, who do we got here? This is Casey.
Chris from South Florida.
South Florida. Chris, how you doing, bro?
Doing good. How the elections doing?
Couldn't be doing any
We're
better.
out here.
What part of Florida are you in?
I was down in Palm Beach.
Palm Beach.
Nice. You been getting hit with any of these storms or what?
We had a couple nice swells from Berto and Dorian came about 90 miles west of us.
Gnarly. You surf? You get any waves?
Yeah, I tagged you on Instagram. I went out a little bit.
Oh, good stuff. I've probably seen it then.
Yeah, you and Andy grinding.
Nice. So what's up, Chris? You got some questions for me or Dawsy?
Yeah, this one might be more for Dawsy. I know you don't really pay attention too much to the technical part of boards.
Yep.
I've only been snowboarding for a little bit, and trying to figure out what kind of board to get. I like the Legos,
Yep.
or the Lagos, but
Lego.
I'm not sure if I should do the double barrel or the grit stick.
What do you ride?
So you like a wide stand? You're like a wide board.
Yeah, well, I've kind of been rental. I only get out of Colorado for like a year.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. I mean, getting a new board is going to step your riding up like crazy for sure.
Yeah, and so from what I've been understanding, I know you like the double barrel, but I think the reverse camber might be a little bit better for somebody learning. Not really doing big jumps or anything.
Yeah. Are you in the park or are you just riding around on the mountain?
Right now, I'm just riding around in the marsh mountains.
Sweet. Any camber board.
Any camber.
Any camber.
The shred stick is reverse camber.
Yeah, but I think any camber for all mountain board is
Regular camber or reverse?
regular camber.
Yeah, so I don't think the shred stick would be good because it's
No.
kind of like a noodle, and when you go to turn, it kind of wants to turn more. If you learn on a regular camber board, it's very responsive, and if you do something, then it changes it, and you'll deal with the consequences if it wasn't the right
and it'll
move,
make you better.
but it'll make you better for sure. So I would say I wouldn't say it
I
again.
think the last board they gave me was just a traditional camber board, and I liked it. And she said that it was like one step up, where you can catch your edge if you're not careful. But
Are you catching your edge? Do you have an issue? Like, do you have an issue like catching your edge? Is that why you need to get? What's the reason why you don't like a camber, or why not switch out of a camber to a reverse camber? Are you having problems like turning, or you have problems?
No, not at all. My first time being on the camber board, I didn't catch an edge the whole weekend that I was on it. I was curious, what you guys.
I would continue that then, because reverse cambers are good for certain things, but if you just want a board that you're going to ride around all the time on, I don't think it's the best idea to get used to a reverse camber, because it spins around a lot. So once you start getting better, if you land something that you were spinning, it's hard to stop that spin, and it's real loose. If you lean back too far, it'll just kind of wash out on you, whereas the regular camber is like it just listens to whatever you do. It's real time. If you turn, it turns. If you do a response, it responds, and it's a little stiffer. So
And you can always adjust like your bindings, your binding setup. So you can like, if you want to switch to like a wider stance or a not as wide stance, or even like the angle of your bindings, like all of that helps as well. It's not like just the board. Like you also have to find like your comfortable point on your board. So it's like you gotta like find that happy medium where you have something where your bindings you're perfectly wide. Oh, you're perfectly wide. You feel comfortable on your width of your bindings, and then the direction of your feet as well. You're comfortable. Either whether it's a duck stance, whether it's like perfectly symmetrical, whether it's even like in or whatever feels comfortable for you. But make sure that your bindings are also dialed.
Yeah, they usually set me up duck-footed, like a 18, 9, I think, is usually -9.
Yeah.
Usually what I ride. And that seems to be comfortable, but I think the camber is probably a better idea, because my background is more surfing, so when I snowboard, I have to keep in mind that I have to tip my weight forward instead of back.
yes, I'm the opposite of that. I feel you there.
Yeah, because I think, with surfing, I tend to drive with my back foot, almost the opposite.
It's 100% the opposite, and that's why I'm always flying off the wave, the opposite of what I'm trying to do. So yeah, man, if you can go with the regular camber, I think for long term it's better. You'll be a better rider because of it.
Nice. You definitely could see the progression in your surfing from the top.
I appreciate
That
that,
was the
dude. That's why I disappeared for a little while, to try to get a couple turns in there to make it look more appealing on film.
Yeah, man. I've been in the water, living in South Florida, we don't get too many good waves unless we get hurricanes. But I had to dust off my sister's old board and get out there.
Yes.
Sick.
Love hearing it.
So,
Love hearing it. All right, Chris. Well, thanks for tuning in, man. We're gonna take another caller here, but hope you get some waves. Hope you get some snowboarding in this winter.
yeah, man, I'll be out in Costa later.
Oh, I'll see you there.
Yeah, man.
All right.
You.
Love to hear it.
You'll love to hear it. Have a good one, Chris.
Yeah. I mean, should we keep taking them, or should we continue the...
Oh, we only got 3 more minutes until they shut us down.
But it would be better. It would be better quality. Oh, that's that.
All right,
It's over, yeah.
Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up for that right there.
So that was trial and error right there.
That was amazing.
I think that went
can't
well.
believe how
yeah.
many people were stoked to call in and ask
we can
questions.
get that. We can get that dialed though. We need to like have that like.
Yeah, this is the first time that we've done a podcast too, and we're gonna get a lot better with the production. We only got 1 camera for the people watching on YouTube. We only have 1 mic on that same camera for the people listening on whichever platform you're on. I'm trying to record on my phone over here, low quality from Dawson speakerphone through a third-party app with a weird number. So we're doing our best. Hope you guys are enjoying this thing. We should keep talking a little bit more about you, because where did we leave off? You got to Woodward. So you hadn't gone to Super Park yet.
Yeah, so I'm at Woodward, had this interview, Sam Tucker. I tell them I'm going to Super Park, whatever. Or no, we're way past that. We already went to Super Park.
No, we haven't gone to Super Park.
Yeah, we already went to Super Park. I got the job at Woodward Tahoe.
Oh, yeah.
I'm now at Woodward Tahoe. So I lived in my car and in like essentially the closet of what is my office in Woodward.
I didn't come visit you this
for an
first
entire summer. You never came.
Did I move to Baja? Where did
I don't know where you were, but we weren't around each other for a little bit, a couple months, and then once summer camp was over, that was my first summer ever, essentially, like shooting photos full time on snow. At the skate parks, mountain biking, everything. So that was like.
I went to Indo.
You went to Indo.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, you were out.
See you in 6 weeks.
See you later.
I was trying to figure the whole time. I was like, where am I that I wouldn't be at Woodward with you?
Yeah. So you went to Indo. I worked at Woodward Tahoe. I slept in the closet for like 3 months there. It was crazy.
Actual closet of Woodward in the media.
I had like my own little. I stole like a bed cot.
One of the paddings from the freaking resi ramp.
Yeah, exactly. So we did that. I did that first summer, boom, and then once I was done there, I went to SoCal, met back up with you. Then that's where we decided, right, to move back to Vermont.
That was it, huh?
And that was it. So then that winter,
because we
all packed up our
connections on the East Coast.
Yeah, and then
I
now know Carinthia.
Yep.
And then Jamie Stories, yeah, because we went to Baja again. I think on that when I went back to SoCal. I remember writing Jamie Stories emails about this like content snow reporter job at Carinthia. So then we got back finally, and we packed up all of our whips, and we drove cross country with Anthony as well. You.
No, I stayed.
Myself, Jamal.
I think I stayed. I was in SoCal working freaking DoorDash, trying to save every dollar that I could.
Oh, you're right. I
Jamal
back.
Me and Jamal were down south, and we packed up the van.
Yeah.
We packed up the
Ford
Ranger.
The Ranger.
Which was basically this thing's last go at life.
Yeah.
It wanted many more years, but we packed up the Ranger from Mexico and drove up to Tahoe. I think you might have already left. We had Friendsgiving at my brother's, and then we did a tour. This is when the vlog started. I remember working all summer after I came back from Indo, saving as much money as I can, telling myself I was not going to be driving freaking food orders
but
ever
you were doing
again.
live sessions.
I had been before that filming for stuff and just stacking footy, saving footy. I went to Costa Rica and like saved 2 months of footy, riding around on a dirt bike by myself with snowboards in Nicaragua and Peru, and like touring with my brother in Europe. And I got all of that footage stolen from me when we were down in Baja before you left to go back east. And that's when I realized, like, I need to buy a new computer, I need to buy a new hard drive, I need to start making content, put it out, and drop it every single day, because if you don't and you save it and something happens, it's gone.
Yeah.
And me and Jamal were just waking up, working every morning, and we were watching Ben Gravy dropping the sickest surf content. He was like maybe a year or two, probably like a year and a half, 2 years almost into his vlog, and it was just seeing like, I'm like, oh my god, like this dude has a sick life. He's just filming it, and people are stoked, and he's stoking people out, and he gets to surf, and he gets to shred, and I was like, this is what I was doing beforehand.
Yeah.
wasn't filming it, and then when I tried
to
to film it, I saved it for too long. I was like, I just need to do what I've been doing and structure it properly so that I filmed that day, put it out the next day. People are hyped, and that's when me and Jamal left on that trip. I bought all the new stuff, and we started the daily vlog, and the first one was on my birthday in my van. And it took me 18 hours. It took me 2 different full days, 9 hours each day while Jamal was working to put that video out. And then the next one I cut in half, and it was like 9. And then when we started that trip, it was like 8, 7, 6, 5. And then I got like stuck around 4 or 5 hours every day. And we vlogged all the way back through Colorado, through Utah, down to Texas, saw Mikey D, drove through Louisiana, got to Florida, linked with Gravy. That was sick. Surfed Kelly Slater's home beach, Cocoa Beach Pier, shooting the pier with Jamal and Gravy. Then I drove up the coast, met up with a bunch of friends, surfed in the Carolinas, or the Virginias, whichever one's on the coast. I don't even know. Carolinas. And then Wilmington, North Carolina. That's where we surfed. Yeah. Met up with Frank Graveyard. Yeah. And then drove up to Jersey. Gravy was already up there, linked with him again, stayed at his place. And then finally made it up to Vermont. By myself, were already there. Jamal didn't make it. He stayed in North Carolina.
I remember you guys rolled up. Or I remember
Jamal stayed in North Carolina. He made it all the way. Made 2,800 miles, and then the last 200. Yeah. And then we got to the Cribby. I remember that first clip of rolling into the house. Yeah. You actually buzzing, coming in so stoked up to the van, just like yeah. And we roll inside, and that started the whole next winter.
So we were now all the crew is now Mount
Brent,
Snow.
Elena, living in the house. Jamal, me, you,
Kyle.
Kyle came in later downstairs, or was he there the whole time?
He was there the whole time.
He was.
Yeah, Kyle was there the whole time, but like Nito ended up like moving in. Kirby was there for a whole month.
Mike Green stopped by.
Yeah,
didn't even know who he was.
Didn't know who he was.
No idea who Mike Green was.
So crazy.
Gave him a free pass.
So loud. But we had that house now, and then at that point, I had the job as what the title was, snow reporter.
Snow reporter.
Yeah. That's a really sick job to have if you're trying to break into the snow industry.
Yeah. For any mountain.
For any mountain. I'm not I don't really know that exactly, but I think, that's a really good starting point because you are not only working on a mountain every single day, but you're learning the way a mountain works, you're learning the way the snow industry works, and not to mention my entire job was shooting photos. And nobody understands that, but the snow reporter is the first one on the mountain. He's out there, they are out there all day, and they have to...
Which builds heavy discipline. You're the first one on the mountain sunrise every day before anybody even wakes up.
You're there,
online, you've already been there, post photos of what it looks like with the conditions.
Photos, you've already written an entire, entire page every morning. I was up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., getting to work when it was dark, waiting for the sunrise. I would go out there, be the first one on the lift. They'd let me up.
I remember texting you, being like, "Should I come?" And you're like, "Do not come."
Yeah, they gotta tell you the conditions. Yeah. Boom. So it's like, and then they allowed me to use my camera on the mountain, shooting pictures of the resorts, pictures of riders, pictures in the park, pictures of everything, and it allowed me to use my camera again every day. So
familiarizing yourself with your gear while getting paid to be where you want and having the option, if you take the extra step, to go and for free shoot the riders and and give them extra content that then they will post and will get your name out there, but you're not really getting paid for that.
So that's what I kind of made my own path there because they've never really had a snow reporter that was,
also at Carinthia shooting all
trying to, was into parks and was into, really like making a name for himself like as a photographer. So I was consistently, my strong suit was shooting action and shooting landscapes and shooting all of that. So they would allow me to spend my time in the parks. So I would go, I would get my job done. I would get the snow report done every morning. I would get all of like the base lodge area shots of Mount Snow and get all like the families like coming in for the morning, like getting on the lift, like all that type of stuff. But then once I got that done, I had freedom and I got my job done, so I had freedom.
You could go home and go to sleep and post up and
relax. And that's that. But I had the freedom to go to the parks and shoot.
Continue and to go over and work even harder somewhere else.
So then I would go to the parks and shoot all these photos and not only use those photos for Mount Snow purposes and Carinthia purposes, but that was an opportunity for me to get my work into the hands of riders and into the hands of all the park crew and the people that ride at Carinthia. So then I established a relationship with them because I would go and hit them up now and be like, yo, Murphy, or yo, Levi, you want to go shoot? Like, let's go shoot in Prospector today. So then I would talk to my boss on the other side and be like, hey, I have this planned out. I'm gonna shoot the lodge in the morning, and then I'm gonna go to Prospector in the early afternoon to shoot with the Carinthia boys. And they'd be stoked because I was getting everything handled, the whole
that they needed.
So like anybody that doesn't make that job an opportunity like that, you know, blows it, because you can have everything you want out of a job.
Yeah.
And you can
even
learn,
if you're not getting paid the craziest amount,
and you're not, like, you know,
you're getting so
you're waking up
extra.
at 4 a.m. You're going out there when it's negative 20 degrees and you're freezing your ass off, and it's dumping snow, and you're still out there with your own camera gear and your own stuff, and you're just out there and you're getting paid nothing essentially, but like you're still working towards you. Yep. So it's so fulfilling, and it's like,
even if you're at home after hours too, editing photos that aren't
oh my god, all the entire time I would bring that work home, and that's where I end up working.
Stay up late doing it.
I end up working an 18-hour
snow report at 4 a.m.
I end up working an 18-hour day every single day, waking up at 4 a.m., working till 9 or 10 or whatever, going to bed, waking up, same thing.
But then you get the background to be able to hit up Woodward the next year.
So yeah, exactly. So now I get that job again at Woodward following summer. So then
no questions asked.
No questions asked. So that winter goes by, we crush it. We had a great winter in Vermont. I moved back out to Tahoe.
Fast forward the epic road trip across the country.
Epic road trip. Oh my gosh. So yeah,
that's a whole nother.
That was another whole thing. But we had an epic road trip. Casey was on a bus with
two of my friends from Germany.
Two friends from Germany. We ended up hopping on the bus for a little bit. We stopped everywhere. It was Anthony, myself. At this point, I got Anthony a job at Woodward. So Anthony was now moving as a skate coach for Woodward. That changed his life. So he moved from the East Coast to Tahoe with myself, and then at this point you, I think, came to Woodward as well, session the first couple weeks at summer camp.
Yep.
And boom, and then
that was my first time ever at Woodward.
And that was his first time ever at Woodward, and now Woodward is so...
Couldn't be more home.
Couldn't be, more of a place that Casey's going to have a giant future with, which is another thing that we're going to have eventually talk about. But,
well, I'm sure so many people are wondering too.
Yeah, I know. So I go back to Woodward for my second summer, and then that summer turns into me working at Boreal Woodward for the second winter of my snowboard photography profession, if you want to call it. So last winter was my first full year in Tahoe, first winter in Tahoe, and that winter, was huge because we had a historic winter, but at the same time I was meeting everybody now on the West Coast in the winter scene. So now I have the East Coast riders and support, and now I'm forming my own West Coast support and my own group of riders and my own group of homies out here. So then I shot all winter then, and then now we're essentially at where we're at right now.
Because of all of that.
Because of all of that, though. So it's like, and that's like winter, and like the same job for the winter, and was my job in the summertime was like content, and I ended up, just out, and it was just like all winter again, shooting photos for social media, running social media for Boreal, posting on Boreal and Woodward, and again just like being out there always shooting. So that's like my main thing is I just want to be outdoors shooting photography my entire forever. That's what I want to be doing. That's what I'm going to do. So that's where like you have to find your jobs or your opportunities to be doing that, whether they pay or not. Money's going to come eventually. Like, you don't need to worry about that.
And especially some people won't put in a lot of work because they're not getting paid a lot, which is the worst mindset you can have
ever
when there's opportunity there to grow.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're getting paid minimum wage, but you have an opportunity that you're going to be surrounded by a whole bunch of people that can excel you in other ways, to not put 200% effort in and show them before you even get paid what you're down to work for, is just such a clear example of like
you
why
need
you're going to go far in the industry.
you need to make a name for yourself. You need to sleep in your car.
Yes.
You need to have nothing. You
Yes.
need to not know where your next check's coming from.
Yep.
Struggle and not have any money, and that's it. You have to do that in order to get to a point where you deserve to be getting paid, because
live in a
you've
house
been and
have a
you've
bed comfortable
experienced
living.
all these things. You've created this network for yourself. You've done it. You're going with the flow. You're living, vicariously through
And the
really
story, it makes the
yourself.
story.
And
When
it
someone
makes-
eats shit before they
Yeah.
actually succeed, it makes the whole thing
story.
so much
It's
better. If
more-
someone's just all
more
of a sudden
natural,
successful,
yeah.
it's like you don't really get the respect and credit of the hard work that it takes to put it in, especially if it takes 3, 4, 5,
Yeah.
10, 12 years.
So
I mean, this is huge right now. I've wanted to bring this up for many months, and there's no better time right now than to bring it up. When we were living at that house in Vermont in 2018, I want to say in like January, maybe late January, me and you made an agreement, a plan that we were going to slave, grind, hustle as hard as we can, and we were going to set a random date in the future. And I think it was 18 months that we set. I had a different phone then. We downloaded an app, we put the date in, and I vaguely remember it. You said you might be able to find it, but being somewhere around September, like late September 20th or something like that, which is insane because it's literally September 23rd. And the way the universe works, if I found that phone, it would probably be September 23rd, and the countdown would be like 3, 2, 1. My phone would explode. And it was just basically we wanted to set a long window with no expectations of anything happening quick.
short-term window.
Oh, but long term, as in like it's not going to happen in a week or a month
Yeah,
or
yeah,
like you
yeah.
start. So we just set like an 18-month window where like we're going to have something established in the next 18 months. Keep in mind we had already been hustling for years, like years. So with that 18-month, I mean I had no following, I had no income, I had
You probably had 1,000 subscribers? Not even? Maybe a couple thousand?
I had just hit 1,000 in that winter. So I had a
Yeah.
1,000 subscribers. Probably had like 5,000 on Instagram, which I've had for years and years and years. Had like the regular sponsors that we've had for so long, the ones I've always been supporting. And basically, we didn't know what successful really what meant, but we just wanted like a form of success to happen in that next 18 months. And we were down to like push it to a short, long-term period. And I mean, from then, I'm claiming right now we have our own house in Tahoe. We've been to Super Park multiple times. The sponsors and the support is unreal. I've been able to get at least enough money to survive through my travels and through my hard work on what I've been doing to get gear. We have
I'm freelancing now.
all of the product that we have is basically free.
Yes.
Like we haven't been paying for snowboards or even like food supplies and
Don't need
stuff
to pay
like
for
that.
essentially anything.
Don't need to
which
pay for
is very, very, very successful in a term of success. Like,
In one term
Yeah,
of success,
yeah.
and then the other term of success, I have been able to, which will bring you up in a second. You're like a week away from being able to do whatever I want, whenever I want, and do what I love, which is just snowboarding and having fun,
Yeah.
hanging out with friends, making good content, and helping others. I'm literally able to do that 100% of the time. And this dude in
1 week.
1 week
In
is
9 days.
officially going full freelance
Yep.
and leaving, or I guess quitting or whatever, being laid off, a mutual leave from every job that he's ever had that isn't just working for yourself.
Yep.
Which is incredible. That's
And
success.
that's success.
Being able to do what you love whenever you
Yeah,
want.
like the money, like again, it's again with like the money thing where it's like people judge and measure success and money in terms like that when it couldn't be more different and the
Yeah.
opposite than that.
Yeah.
Like success is
Happiness.
happiness and like doing things that you love
With
and
your
like
life.
and then like you do get things back. You do get like some sort of repercussion. It might not be money, but it's like like free stuff or like the opportunity to travel, the opportunity to live your day and not have to go and like go answer to somebody nonstop all day and like you can just like live like that's success.
That's
like,
100%.
that's building your success.
I feel like
It's
at this age too, in this era, this year, it's pretty much being redefined as that.
Yeah.
Because for so long it was just like hustle, 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 which some people are not meant to continuously hustle. Some people are meant to do other things, and that's completely fine. But if you're trying to hustle and you feel good doing it, and that's what you love, then it's not like a stressful thing on your body. You're just cranking out what you love to do, and if you love to do it and you get to do it all the time and it's for yourself and you're happy.
And it comes so natural, and it's like you're not even working at that point. I mean, you're
last night we tried to watch a movie.
Yeah.
Before we could watch a movie, I like had to like dump drone footy and like make an Instagram edit and like end up looking at this thing, and you're like, bro, I thought we weren't gonna do any work tonight. And you're like, hold on, like let me just do like one quick thing. I'll write up an email real quick and send it out to 1,000
now
people.
Now it's 10:30. We're starting a movie. Yeah, but it's one of those. Again, it's like if it doesn't come so natural to you. And you can't do it. You know, it has to come super natural. If you have any sort of friction whatsoever, then it's not the right time to do any of that.
And it can change. Like, if you love doing it for 18 months and then all of a sudden you're just not feeling it anymore, or something pops up that you like better, or you know the whole time, then like go for that.
Yeah,
especially being young.
And then
we're in our 20s.
You change your scope on things, you know. But like, yeah, so you know, judging success and measuring success in money terms to me is just like out of the question right now. It's like that'll come later on, years from now, and then we don't need to even think about money. We don't need to worry about money. None of that. But at least right now, all I know is I just need to worry about the grind and making my name. So because eventually that name will be worth something to somebody, you know. So
I'm claiming it already is.
Yeah. So.
I think we should shut it down on that note.
Well, we need to do some reviews here. We need you to do some reviews. So I'm gonna reach over here, and I'm gonna grab something. I'm gonna throw it to you. You need to give me five words.
All right, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second.
Clock running. That bulletproof.
All right, hit me.
All right. So here it is.
What do we got? Oh, my favorite glove.
Favorite glove?
Favorite glove.
My favorite glove. That's why I picked it.
Really?
So we got candy grind, handbag mittens.
The handbag mitten.
Yep.
Next year's.
Next year's.
This year's.
All black. This year's.
2020 dropping in the fall.
2020.
The zipper.
Zipper is a word.
Oh, we're going 5 words?
Yeah, but explain it. I'll hit 5 words. Zipper.
The zipper changes everything.
Yep.
When you have to pull your glove off and it's wet, sometimes like in the winter or even in the summer, and it makes it that weird thing, and then you got to put your hand back in. Sometimes you can just literally do the zipper, put your phone out, and like touch something, or you can even grab or like zip something up. That easy.
So zipper is a big thing.
Zipper's a huge thing. The warmth is psycho.
Warmth. Yeah, they're the best glove ever.
Warmth and comfortability.
It's insane.
And then durability.
I'm gonna put this one.
That'd be the 4th word.
Durability.
I've had a pair of these for over a year and nothing happens to them.
Yeah, they literally don't rip. They
get
don't
dirty.
Do anything.
And I'm like hiking around Crater
They'll
Lake
look
in
like
the dirt,
this.
shoveling.
They'll look like this next year.
Just faded.
Yeah.
Just a
little fade.
Color fades a
like
little
down
bit.
here, like this will be a little faded. That's it.
And what was that, 4 words? I'd say the last one is just fresh.
Fresh. They look
Kidding
fresh.
me? All black, pattern on point, CG little pepperoni with a tag.
The sleeve over it. Boom.
Plus it's got the band. Yeah. For the win.
G.O. dude.
For the dream. For the
Game
boys.
over.
For the boys. Shout out to Candy Grind.
Yeah, shout out Candy Grind. So that's the review section.
That's the review. Yeah, maybe we'll do more in the future.
Yeah.
Leave some comments. Let us know what you guys want to see. Let us know how we did. This is going to be getting upgraded like crazy. I'll leave all the links to all the stuff below, everything that we've been talking about. Shout out to all the sponsors, Candy Grind and Nanocraft and everybody. Nobody's actually officially sponsoring the podcast yet, but we just love the
Shout out
help
the
and the
homies.
hookups,
That's
and
it.
I'm sure this thing will grow in the future. Love doing the chat with you guys. That was amazing. Let us know what you think about that.
We'll dial that down a little more.
Yeah, we'll get the audio better.
Yeah.
Let us know. Just leave some comments. How was the audio? How was our talking? How was our faces? How was everything? Just run up the comment section. Let us
Thank
know.
you for listening to my entire story. I've never really explained that.
Couldn't be more happy to have you on the show.
I don't
Mike
think
Dawson.
we hit on many questions. I think one question took over the whole thing. So
There's gonna be a lot of these. We had to run through.
yeah. So maybe we'll
who
do
you
it.
are.
Maybe we'll do another one.
Yeah.
Let's do another one.
100%.
I like this.
Maybe we'll do one a week.
Yeah.
But
Me
Mike
too.
Dawson, you got a website or something? You got what are you
Just
trying to push right
at
now?
Mike Dawsy on Instagram.
At Mike Dawsy on
Hit me
Instagram.
up. DM me. Hit me up with questions. Anything. I'm always available.
He won't say it, but I'm gonna let you guys know he's quitting his job in a week. Freelance, 100%. So if you're trying to support the boy, patreon.com/Dawsy.
I think so.
All right. He's got a bunch of tiers, giving out stickers, giving out posters, maybe printing photos of me or other epic people doing sports, doing snowboarding, whatever it
Put
may
up
be.
on the walls.
Hanging up on the wall, monthly packages.
Yeah.
So glad to have you, bro. Stoked to be living together.
Thanks for having me.
I don't have any
Stoked
coffee
to be
in
here.
this, but
Get the water cup. Get the water
stay
cup.
hydrated.
Hydrate the neck, boys.
See you guys next time.
You.